The following are abortion procedures performed with lifelike scientific models and actual abortion instruments. Though disturbing, it is extremely important for everyone everywhere to know what an actual abortion procedure entails, how its victim will die, and how a woman could be hurt by it. Please don't look away. Know that over 3,000 lives will be lost today in the United States alone from one of these abortion procedures. The first procedure that I'm going to demonstrate for you is the partial birth abortion procedure. Although this procedure is currently banned in the United States, other late-term abortion procedures are less well known to us, and they are as horrific as this abortion procedure, so it is important to know about how babies are being killed at this late stage of pregnancy. In a normal pregnancy, for the first half of the pregnancy, the baby is presenting head up inside the mother's body. But during the later half of a pregnancy, about the middle of the second trimester, the baby typically moves so it is head down, which is a safe delivery for the mother and baby. In partial birth abortion, the abortionist must first force the woman's cervix open prematurely, which is dangerous and causes a much higher rate of premature birth in later pregnancies. Then the abortionist reaches up inside the uterus and turns the baby so it is no longer head down, but head up. This is the breech position. He then delivers the baby so that just the head is left inside the mother's body. The abortionist must leave the head inside the mother. Otherwise, the baby is considered born. In the eyes of the law, as soon as the baby is born, if the abortionist performs the exact same procedure that he could have with the baby's head still inside the mother, the abortionist has performed a homicide, not a justifiable abortion. Once the abortionist has delivered the baby thus far, he takes his medical forceps. He stabs the baby inside the back of its head. Reach up and feel that bony part in the back of your skull, and then right below that there's a soft spot where the spinal cord connects to the brain. That is where the abortionist stabs the baby in the head. He opens the forceps to make a hole. He then uses his suction tube, which is essentially a vacuum, sucks the baby's brains out, crushes the baby's head, and delivers the dead baby. Again, if he were to perform this exact same abortion procedure on a baby that had been completely delivered from the mother, it would be a homicide. 3 inches, or the length of a credit card in your wallet, separates a homicide from a justifiable abortion. The second abortion procedure that I'm going to tell you about is induction abortion, which is performed on late-term pregnancies. In this abortion procedure, the abortionist uses a 10-inch long needle. He fills the syringe of the needle with DIGOXIN. He then takes the needle, inserts it through the mother's abdomen, and stabs the baby in its heart. He floods the baby's heart with DIGOXIN, which causes a massive heart attack. Survivors of a heart attack tell us that heart attacks are both terrifying and extremely painful. The baby feels every bit of this as anesthesia is not administered. Up to 2 or 3 days later, the mother is induced and must go through the delivery process and delivers a dead baby. Dilation and evacuation is performed in the second trimester. In this abortion procedure, as with other late-term abortion procedures, the abortionist must first prematurely open the mother's cervix. After the abortionist has opened the cervix, he reaches inside the uterus with a pair of medical forceps. He then takes hold of the baby with his medical forceps and grabs pieces of the baby and rips apart the baby's skeleton, taking arms, legs, head, part of the body, and pulls them outside of the mother one by one. A nurse would stand by, reassemble the body like some sort of macabre jigsaw puzzle to make sure that no part of the baby was left inside the mother. If any part of the baby is left inside of the mother, this opens the mother up to dangerous infection because the baby is a completely different genetic material than herself. This abortion procedure is particularly risky because the abortionist can, thinking that they are grabbing a part of the baby, puncture the mother's uterus, grab a part of the bowel, and bring it inside the mother's uterus where it ruptures, spilling waste into her body. This is how many women have lost their lives to legal, quote-unquote, safe abortion. First trimester abortions are the most common in America. For some reason, we think that a first trimester abortion is acceptable. The babies are so small, so underdeveloped, that it's okay to kill them. but later on in pregnancy, America becomes increasingly more against abortion. These are examples, scientific replicas of babies in first trimester abortions. The first baby is 7 weeks, the last baby is 10 weeks. Dilation and curettage is performed up to 15 weeks of pregnancy. This is a 20-week baby model, and this is a 12-week baby model. So imagine between this size. The abortionist uses a curette in this abortion procedure. Imagine a spoon, but instead of a basin, it's hollowed out, and the inside is serrated like a steak knife. The abortionist uses the curette by inserting it inside the mother's body and carving the baby into pieces, then using the spoon shape of the curette to scrape the baby outside the mother's body, where the baby is disposed of as waste. One of the most common abortion procedures in the United States is the vacuum aspiration abortion. The abortionist uses essentially a strong vacuum, reaches inside the uterus, vacuums the baby, the placenta, and all the contents of the womb out, where the baby typically can go down the sink or as medical waste. Chemical abortions are on the rise. Think of them as, horrifically, the fast food of the abortion industry. Abortionists can spend very little time with women, give them their abortion, and send them out the door. RU486 is currently responsible for the deaths of at least 14 women, as well as countless babies. RU486 is a two-part drug cocktail. The first drug is called MIFEPREX. MIFEPREX operates as a hormone blocker. Essentially what it does is tells the mother's brain, you aren't pregnant. Instead of the mother's brain telling the body, send nutrients, send support, take care of the baby growing in your womb, the brain says, we're not pregnant. All support is cut off to the baby. The baby starves for lack of care. Up to 2 days later, not in an abortion clinic, but at home, typically in her bathroom, the mother takes misoprostol, either vaginally or orally. Misoprostol is a labor induction drug. Misoprostol causes painful contractions for a woman whose body is not ready to go into labor. She has to go through the labor process and deliver a dead baby. Some women have said that they have even seen recognizable features of their baby in their toilet after an RU486 abortion. I highly suggest that you Google Holly Patterson. She died after taking RU486. She was told that she was going to have a safe abortion, that her accident would be wiped away, that her life would get back to normal. Instead, within a month after having her legal, quote-unquote, safe abortion, she was dead. It's time for women everywhere to know what abortion procedures actually do to their children, what actually happens in their body, the risks and complications of common abortion procedures. Our hope is that by knowing what abortion is, America will rise up and stop abortion. It's easy to think about abortion just being a choice. But what if it was a choice being made for you? Are one of these abortion procedures the way you would like to die?